Crowds of protesters have massed outside the Greek parliament ahead of a vote on a fresh wave of austerity measures. The Eurozone and the IMF have demanded more belt-tightening before they release the next instalment of bailout money. But striking Greek workers say the latest measures will kill off the economy altogether. Europe correspondent Rachel Brown reports.
Early in Athens, citizens marched towards Parliament for another day of protests against the vote they consider their death knell.
Our goal here today is to drive the government out and for a new government to take over, one that has the people's interests at heart.
They've vowed to again bring the country to a standstill. Flights and public transport have been crippled, schools are closed, and rubbish piles up in the streets. And the shadows of yesterday's violence remain. It's the biggest strike in recent history, the people's last stand before a new austerity bill that includes fresh tax hikes, pension and salary cuts, and the suspension of 30,000 public servants.
The fact it was voted on is one thing, its implementation is another. The people will tear it apart.
There've already been violent clashes in the capital, with demonstrators trading Molotov cocktails and marble chunks from buildings for tear gas and stun grenades. The Greek government says striking workers are blackmailing the country. It says citizens have no choice but to swallow the bitter pill.
We have to explain to the citizens, to those who have given us a mandate, that unfortunately it is necessary to live through this phase in order to avoid a worse phase.
To avoid defaulting, Greece needs to prove to international creditors it's holding up its end of the bargain to secure the next $11 billion slice of its bailout. But citizens say if change is rushed, the economy will die and suicide rates will continue to skyrocket.
Well, Greece has entered into a coma, which is deepening. And the more medicine is being applied on the patient, the deeper the coma is becoming.
Meanwhile, the Eurozone will be tackling the worsening sovereign debt crisis at this weekend's summit in Brussels.
Without Greece creating confidence in the investors that it can come back to a path of sustainability, it will not have the necessary confidence. And without confidence, there will be no investment and no jobs.
It's been 18 months since Greece received its first bailout, but most citizens feel forestalling bankruptcy is coming at too high a personal cost. Rachel Brown, Lateline.